Welcome to Watcher DM. I'm Gabriel. Today I'm doing a flip through and review of Slow Sleigh to Plankton Downs by Ezra Claveri. This adventure is designed for use with the Troika role playing game. There's a couple of cool things on the inside end papers here. The front end paper is the map of the entire sleigh, the slow sleigh, with really nicely illustrated little references. Like it's actually got the keys kind of built in, and then they also include some little icons down here. Yeah, some interesting stuff. Like emergency supplies, the brig, cargo boxes, freezers, and robot anchors. These little guys here. This is cool. It's a cool illustration. The art for this actually is done by Dirk Deitwiller Leichty. He is also the artist, I believe, who did much of the character art in the original Troika Numinous Edition book, a book of which I am a huge fan and an art style I very much like. Also, it was the editing and development was done by Jarrett Crater, layout and development by Christian Kessler, and layout by Meredith Silver, with sensitivity editing by Brian Yaksha. I recently ran this adventure for my mother in a duet game of Troika. It is a murder mystery. So the setup here is introduction to Myung's Misstep, which is a frozen kind of ice ball moon around a gas giant. And there's a kind of heavy water here that's popular in cocktails. That's kind of the pitch. It's obviously very silly, kind of Troikaism stuff, but it's also very much blended in with some kind of more sciencey sci-fi. It doesn't really make reference to the city of Troika in any way, or even I think golden barges or anything. It's like you come down a space elevator on this moon, and that's the spaceport. I think the spaceport is literally named like out of order. Like that's the name of the out of order site of the world's space elevator. They named their space elevator out of order. So very tongue in cheek, very comedic, very fun stuff. The scenario pits the PCs against a murderous maxillary usurper, which is a monster that swaps their lower jaw out every few days with the jaw of their victims, whom they then, they murder them, and then they rip out their jaws, and they replace their jaw with that new jaw. It's gross. Like, just conceptually, it's extremely gross. The usurper in this particular case is disguised as a nun, a Martian Orthodox nun, I believe. And yeah, the setup is really interesting in that you're playing on a sleigh. This is not it's like almost like a cruise ship sized sleigh that's moving on this ice moon. It is moving slowly to its destination, and the PCs are kind of locked into the place while it makes the journey. And so, the PCs kind of have a little bit of a whodunit on their hands. They explore the ship a little bit, they interact socially, and then a lot of it is just the mystery and social engagement with the rest of the adventure until they discover what's going on. So this is your stat block for the maxillary usurper, which interestingly I think is actually also kind of a it's like a background. It's set up as a kind of background. And in fact, I want to say, yeah, it's also back here. Yeah, it's really interesting. Yellowed photo of parents. Of course, the standard weird Troika-isms like Maine. Understanding usurpers is kind of this is the lore of what the usurpers are within the world and why they're monsters and how monstrous they are and how they work mechanically. The voyage lasts a base 72 hours, and you roll 2d6 for weather every 2 hours or whenever the situation seems to call for a change, and that will impact how long the voyage takes. And then the ship itself has 3 decks. The signs read crew only below the top deck. And then, there's kind of a normal, what's going on setup and a couple of basic general things to account for about the ship. And then you get straight into the upper deck map and what's going on here. So you've got the lounge, the bar, the first class, observation deck, second class, operations, and the cafe. And then in your middle deck, you've got the wheelhouse, the crew mess and rec room, the crew kitchen, the storage, the cargo hold, the crew bunks, the mate's quarters, and the captain's quarters. And then on the lower decks, you just have the engine room. And so it is interesting. Basically, the place itself is not designed to really give you much outside of the context of the murders that are going on. So it is going to be up to the GM to kind of staple the world together, as it were. All the ingredients are here, but it's not giving you very many instructions in terms of like how to actually execute on the moment-to-moment play of the adventure. The murders, on the other hand, are set to happen at specific intervals of time. So at 1900, the first murder is discovered. One of the things I noticed that was a little weird about this is they remark about how half of the CCTV cameras on the ship broke years ago. So, like, they don't work, but some do. And so this was a little confusing in that, first of all, they don't really give you an indication of where the CCTVs would, like, display their contents or where that stuff is stored. But they definitely imply that you can get access to it. So I just put it in operations. It seemed like the practical place for it to be. But it is a bit of a miss there. And then otherwise, I think, it's fairly just like prescriptive as to how this first murder scene goes. But after that, you've kind of got like, I guess it's 5 hours, maybe 6. Yeah, I think it's actually like 6 hours before the second murder happens. And we did not get to this part. We didn't end up running this section, which is interesting because this time the CCTV does record evidence, a steady stream of passengers entering and exiting the toilet, and it gives evidence to that. There's a little bit of setup here for them to kind of escalate and find the clues further. My mom, when she played through, heard the rumor that the nuns had been complaining about vile odor as of death while trying to sleep off their hover sickness. She went in there and really started pushing people around until she discovered the slurper and then had a big battle and did her in, and it was great. It was very exciting. The crew and passengers section just gives you some names and basic stat blocks for the crew, and then the passengers. These are some other passengers for D6 non-human bodies. So these are like different kinds of people. And then, of course, you've got your Martian Orthodox nuns, your water farmers and farmhands, your ice miners, and your recent glaciology graduates, so college students. You get some great little tokens here, these little hexagonal character tokens. And again, the art in here is just to die for. I love it. The styling of it is exactly my style. You get some new backgrounds that you can play with this adventure. I think this is a kind of strangely unfortunate thing about Troika, is that each adventure tends to come with its own backgrounds that are specific to this setting. And I think that in a lot of ways that's driven people to treat Troika as optional. And I think that created the need for the 1 in 5 Troika adventures, which I love. I think they're really good. I also really like this style of book, and so it was really exciting to see this here. The clonal menumant is an option here. The displacement prosthesist. The ice miner, of course, classic ice miner character. The macrame owl, which is very weird. Classic Troika. The Misstep monastic. I think this is another Martian Orthodox. The octopod headfoot. the Scud Miller, and the Taperoid Moron, which is, I think, one of the school graduates or whatever. So all told, I think there's 8, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh no, I guess 9 backgrounds. So you wouldn't really be able to roll for these in the traditional sense. But yeah, you can pick a background, whatever. And then, as I said before, you get the maxillary usurper here. And then on the back, in the back end papers, you get the weather tables, you get NPC names, which you can quickly roll up to get some names. NPC preoccupations table. This might be the best table in the book. They are preoccupied with a bitter or a relative's ungraceful aging, or a secret paraphilia, or impending masturbation. They're just really great opportunities here. And then NPC distinctive features are likewise pretty fantastic. Teeth yellowed from smoking, or body odor, or, clothes appear bespoke. So just some really, really fun. You could use this just for like any kind of NPC generation. I really love this table. And yeah, it's a short one. It's a sweet one. It does the trick, and it was honestly more fun to run than I was anticipating. I think it's about 36 pages end to end. Let's see if that's correct. Inside cover, Myung's Misstep is treated as page 1. So yeah, it's like 36. But yeah, great little adventure, worth picking up. I think it's a piece of kind of Troika history. And it does something that I think is pretty hard to do in keeping people in a place, like a stationary place, and still having a whole session of play within that one place without them really leaving. We did something recently like this in our adventure for the Mothership Game Jam, called Carving Emir, where the players are stuck on a drill ship as it drills into this planet. And so the horror kind of happens as the drill is moving ever steadily towards its target, but you can't steer a drill ship. Right? It's not really that kind of thing. So it's an interesting way to just escalate, time moving forward and having an adventure. Anyway, I hope you like this. If you like these kinds of videos, I hope you'll hit the like button. If you want to see more of them, you should subscribe. And if you want to be notified when the new ones come out, you should hit the bell icon, or come back on Sundays is when I do these ones. If you want to get early access to these videos and daily content from me where I share my writing process and my art process, you can go to my Patreon at patreon.com/watcherdm. And that's what I've got for you today. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.